Hello, leaders. This is your friendly neighborhood corporate consultant, Christina Eisenhower with First Sun EAP, and I'm back with Well, Hello, Leader. I want to come today to talk with you a little bit about something that has been on my mind the last couple of weeks, and I've been thinking about it both in my professional and my personal life, and that is the idea of the Karpman drama triangle. Now, this is an idea that I do sometimes teach in my leadership training, especially around conflict management and resolution. Now, the Karpman drama triangle is not a new concept. It is this idea that in situations with people that we often kind of fall into one of three different roles, like in a triangle. And those roles are the victim, persecutor or villain, and the rescuer or the hero. Now, what I want you to think about, we could talk about the Karpman drama triangle for days because it's so fascinating and we could think about all of the different ways that it shows up at work. But what I really want you to stop and think about today is when you may have been invited or enticed as a leader and a manager into this drama triangle with two employees who are in conflict. And here's the heart of it. Sometimes we have to intervene. If you're a leader and a manager and there is something egregious happening, discrimination, harassment, something that is really risky, violence, intimidation, of course, we need someone to intervene in that situation to stop that behavior. But when we're thinking about everyday conflict, everyday tension and friction that coworkers are going to experience, I want you to really start to think about what role you're being invited to play in that conflict. The way that I see this play out a lot in the leaders that I work with is that two employees who are in conflict, maybe one of them is taking on that role of the victim, right? The person who's being persecuted or mistreated in some way. Perhaps that other person is also playing into that. There's friction. Maybe they are being difficult and challenging in some way. But one of those employees brings that manager and leader in as a third person to intervene and to mediate. Now, again, there's times when that's appropriate, but here's the risk to that situation, because oftentimes what I see is that the manager is brought in to be the hero and the rescuer, mostly by the person who is feeling that they are in a victim state. Now, what's the danger there? If you come in, right, as a manager, that white knight on your horse to come rescue the day. Well, one of the challenges with that role is that now you have started to take on this role of rescuer, meaning that you see that the victim is unable to advocate for themselves, that they don't have the power, they don't have the agency, they don't have the skills and resources to handle the situation themselves. Now, they may be asking you to do it, but you're not coaching them to do it themselves. You're coming in and handling that situation for them. That's a challenge, right? Because what they're not learning in that scenario is how to handle conflict, which is going to happen to every single one of us in the workplace. They want someone else to come in as the person that rescues them and takes them away from that difficult, uncomfortable situation. And if you come in as a rescuer, then you're only compounding that narrative that that person may feel that they are incapable and that every time they face a challenge, a tension, a stress, they've got to bring in a third person to help them with that. And that's not always the healthy way to resolve conflict in the workplace. The other danger to coming in as the rescuer for the victim in the drama triangle is, what does that communicate now to the third employee? If you come to the rescue of only one of your employees, that communicates potentially to that third employee that you believe they are the villain, you believe they are the persecutor, and that you're taking the side of the other employee. And that can be dangerous too, where you can lose traction, you can lose trust, and you can really impact the relationship you have with that third employee. So what I want you to do is think about the next time that you're invited into conflict with two of your employees who are having tension with each other, is what role are you being invited to play? And is that a healthy role to play? Is that actually going to be effective at empowering both employees in that situation? And I would encourage you to think about, instead of being the rescuer and the hero, how do you become a coach in that situation? That's another part of this drama triangle, which is to think about how to switch roles. How do you move from rescuer to coach, where you are encouraging, empowering both employees in that situation to handle the situation directly with that person? I'm curious how it might work out for you. So again, think about next time you're invited in to mediate, solve a conflict with two of your employees, Think about what role you're being invited to play and how can you switch from rescuer to coach. I would love to hear about y'all's experiences with this and how it works out. As always, let us know at First Son how you're doing, how we can help you. Until next time, stay curious, and I hope to see you around the neighborhood.